Donal Ware with you here. An exciting ending to the game, but unfortunately, A&T falls to Maine 37-30. A&T was down 37-16 out coming into this fourth quarter, came all the way back. Some missed opportunities if A&T could have capitalized on. But one thing you've always said about A&T, this team never gives up. It happened in the Hampton game, which they come back to win, and it almost happened right here today in Orono, Maine.
And I think, Donald, one of the things that they're going to look at as they watch the game films and go over this game, again, it was the fact that they gave up the big plays. That is what really hurt, and that's something they'll really have to clean up, cut down on those explosive plays that they've been giving up. But you got to give them credit. As you said, they were down 37-16, and no quit whatsoever. They just kept battling. The defense picked up, made a couple of big-time stops. Offense made a couple of big-time throws, and they were within, 22 yards of tying this game. So you got to give them credit for that. And just a tough loss, but they came back. They didn't give up. They fought until that final whistle, and you got to give them credit for that.
Yep. Daryl Foster says Aggie pride. He says we had opportunities to win this game. And he's right, giving up big plays hurt us bad. Jay Stowe says, Aggie pride, gentlemen, we believe in Coach Gibbs. Greg says special teams killed us today, and it did. But, boy, I tell you what, that 85-yard touchdown return by Elijah there really put A&T back in the game. Then you have Ian said we lost this game in the first half. Linebacker play has to improve, but much improved from last week. Greg says KJ is getting better and better. He really did play well today, Al.
I've always been a fan of KJ White, and we talked about before the game, Donald, and we can just keep him healthy and keep him on the field. The Aggies always have a chance when he's out there because he gives us, I believe, our best chance to win.
Let's see. Swannell says if we can play hard at the end, we have the talent and ability to win. And you're right. I mean, look, the first half, it was just, it was really all Blue Bears.
Yeah.
But they had 30 points, only scored 7 points in the second half. Really, the Aggies clamped down and took advantage of some of the opportunities presented to them.
And again, it was those explosive plays that hurt us. And that's something that we're going to have to really clean up. And I'm sure they're going to look at the film and make a determination as to why we're giving up those big plays and, of course, take steps to correct it.
All right, got our man Hans in Indianapolis says, gentlemen, tough loss for us, but there was no quit in the boys when they could have easily packed it in. Meanwhile, here in Indy, Morgan just blocked a Miles field goal attempt and ran it back 87 yards, 24-17. Boy, and then he says Morgan wins the Circle City Classic. Thank you for that, Hans. Boy, that's a much closer game than you would expect, particularly with the way that Miles had been playing winless on the season. Troy says Aggie pride. Earthel says Aggie pride. We must start faster than we did today. The team did not give up, which is true. Kwasi Free says 1-1 in the CAA. Lori says Aggie pride. Paulette says Aggie pride. Them boys fought hard, did an excellent job, keep pounding. So, it was one of those deals. Perhaps they could have gotten off to the faster start. But, you said this, and you said this a lot last year, but you said even in the UCF game, they just kept playing.
Kept playing. But again, the big plays, Donald, the explosive plays, that has been our Achilles heel, and we're going to have to do something to remedy that.
Yeah. It's no doubt about that. Think about if you erase some of those big plays, what the score, could have won the game.
Yep.
Think about if you're able to capitalize on those when, you had a situation where Maine a couple of times had penalties where you could not capitalize on because you're giving up the big play to the sideline. And we saw that 5 or 6 times today where there was a receiver wide open and nobody within 10 yards of him. Let's see. Daryl says a good William & Mary team up next, which is very, very true. And that's the next opponent. We're 1-1 in the CAA. So you got to go up to William and Mary, and
They're a tough team.
Yeah,
they're a very tough team. So it's going to be a big challenge for A&T next week at William and Mary.
Christopher says have to score in the first half and not wait till late in the game. True. See, DC says gave up too many big plays. Got to figure out how to stop allowing 3 to 4 of these a game. But the guys never quit. Keep playing, guys. Aggie Pride, you're right. It's probably more like 7 to 8.
Yep.
But get the gist of what you're saying there, DC. Who also says KJ looks really good, and he does. Timothy says good comeback today, but we're outplayed and outcoached. No defense early with no adjustments. Look, they continued to fight, came back, and was able to, ultimately, Al, make a game of it.
But I think, we've mentioned this before. It's the big explosive plays that have been our Achilles heel down, and we've got to figure out why that is happening and make some remedies to correct that. So we'll see.
Yep. Kimmett says, get KJ started early. See, Robin says, Aggie Pride, keep pounding. Robert says, offense is back. Defense needs to tighten up. I would say, however, we need to get the running game going. The running game is not quite, it's not back. The KJ certainly did his part, but they got to get the running game going.
We only had, 47 yards rushing at halftime, and we're going to definitely have to do better in that aspect.
You see, W. Anthony Lawson says defensive back play too far off the receivers. You're right, Swannell says we must put pressure on the other team's quarterback. Quarterback has too much time in the pocket. Let's look at some of these numbers. A lot of talk about Kevin White today, and he was solid. Remember, second game back, 19 of 32. 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Good day by Kevin White, and as you said, he is just coming back, and I anticipate that he's going to get better and better. And, of course, if we could get a running game to complement that passing game, it would be just a big boom, and I think that's something that the coaching staff is going to work on.
DC says we got to get Blizzard some more touches. But there was a point in the game where J.T. Smith ran off like a 7-yard run, 6-yard run. We didn't see him anymore. He was putting in some work today, but we didn't see him the rest of the game. Stephanie says, looks like we are a second half team. We have to do more in the first half, which is definitely true. CAA play continues. There's no moral victories. Nope. This counts as goes as a 1 in the loss column. You're now 1-1 on the season. You got to now play a tough William and Mary team who only beat this Maine team by 1 point.
By 1 point, and we go to William and Mary next week, and that is going to be a big game. It's going to be a tough game. William and Mary is really a talented team, play a big brand of physical football, so it's going to be another challenge for the Aggies of A&T.
All right, let's see. We're going to give Janelle always comes and talks to us, so we're going to give her the last word because, look, we got a flight. We don't want to miss the flight. I mean, we're up in Maine. We got to catch the flight. Janelle says started off too slow. A quicker start would have helped the cause and would have won the game. And she says White was solid today. Defensively, we're not good and didn't execute. And so they need to improve upon that before they fail.
Yeah, a few things they got to clean up. The explosive plays, and as you said, that passing game, we were giving up too many pass plays, especially on the outside. And I'm sure they're going to look at the films and figure out why and make some corrections to try to change that situation.
378 yards of total offense today for Maine, but remember, what was it? 330 of those yards was in the first half.
First half, yeah.
So A&T able to muster up 306 yards of total offense. Look, we said Janelle, but we're getting some kudos from Kermit. So Kermit, you're going to have the last word. Love you guys after the game, Kermit. We appreciate that. We love doing this. Look, guys, the Blue and Gold postgame show is a wrap because we got a plane to catch. We do not want to be left here in Orono. I mean, the seafood's okay,
but the temperature is dropping.
The temperature is dropping.
The temperature is dropping, so we're out of here.
Yeah, we got to head south. Next broadcast of Aggie football on the Aggie Sports Radio Network is going to take place on next Saturday. It's against William & Mary on the road. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. It'll be yours truly and Al Swann. We're coming on with the pregame show at 3 p.m. Want to thank my man Dez back at the studios of the Aggie Sports Radio Network Aggie Network for all of his outstanding work. For Al Swann, I'm Donal Ware saying so long for now from Orono, Maine. Your final score, Maine 37, North Carolina A&T 30. You've been listening to Aggie Football on the Aggie Sports Radio Network.